Chapter 1. Slowly, Proctor swam back up toward consciousness from inky depths. It was a long swim, and it seemed to take a long time. At last he opened his eyes. The lids felt heavy, and it was all he could do not to close them again. What had happened? For a moment he lay motionless, taking in his surroundings. Then he realized he was on the floor of his sitting room. His sitting room. I have a great many things to do. All of a sudden, everything came back to him in a mad rush. He struggled to rise, failed, tried again with still greater effort, and this time managed to push himself to a sitting position. His body felt like a sack of meal. He glanced at his watch. 11:15 a.m. He'd been out just over 30 minutes. 30 minutes. God only knew what might have transpired in that time. I have a great many things to do. With a heroic effort, Proctor staggered to his feet. The room rocked, and he steadied himself against a table, shaking his head violently in an attempt to clear it. He paused just a moment, trying to collect both his physical and mental faculties. Then he opened the table's single drawer, pulled out a Glock 22, and stuffed it into his waistband. The door to his set of rooms was open, the central hallway of the servants' quarters visible beyond. He made for the open doorway, steadied himself against its frame, then lurched down the hall like a drunken man. Reaching the narrow back staircase, he grasped the railing tightly and half-walked, half-staggered down 2 flights of stairs to the mansion's main floor. This effort, and the sense of extreme danger that enveloped him, combined to help sharpen his senses. He walked down a short corridor and opened the door at the end, leading to the public rooms. Here he paused, preparing to call for Mrs. Trask. Then he reconsidered. Announcing his presence was inadvisable. Besides, Mrs. Trask had in all probability already left to visit her ailing sister in Albany, and in any case she was not the person in greatest danger. That person was Constance. Proctor stepped out onto the marble floor, preparing to enter the library, ride the elevator to the basement, and take whatever steps were necessary to protect her. But just outside the library, he stopped again. He could see that, within, a table had been overturned, books and various papers spilling over the carpeting. He glanced around quickly. To his right, the mansion's grand reception hall, its walls lined with cabinets full of strange displays, was a mess. A plinth had been knocked over. The ancient Etruscan cinerary urn, previously displayed upon it, shattered into pieces. The oversized vase of freshly cut flowers that always stood in the middle of the hall, its contents changed daily by Mrs. Trask, now lay broken on the marble floor. 24 roses and lilies disarrayed in puddles of water. At the far end of the hall, at the doorway leading to the refectory gallery, one of the cabinet doors was wide open, canted to one side, half ripped from its hinges. It looked as if someone had grasped it in a frantic attempt to avoid being dragged away. All too clearly, these were signs of a terrific struggle, and they led from the library across the reception hall directly toward the mansion's front door and the world beyond. Proctor ran across the hall. In the long, narrow room beyond, he could see that the refectory table, at which until recently Constance had been occupied with researching the Pendergast family history, was a riot of disorder, books and papers strewn about, chairs knocked over, a laptop computer upended. And at the far end of the room, where a foyer led to the front hall, was something even more disturbing. The heavy front door, which was rarely unlocked, let alone opened, stood ajar, admitting brilliant late mid-morning sunlight. As he took in these signs with mounting horror, Proctor heard, far beyond the open door, the muffled sound of a female